on, agents? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and today I wanted to quickly recap yesterday's State of the Game stream announcements and give you some general thoughts about several of the topics discussed. But before we begin, I would again like to ask for your support by smashing that sub button for intensive Division content. And don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another upload notification from my channel. And this is especially important now that YouTube has completely changed the way they send out those notifications. All right, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. So the stream was conducted by Hamish, Yannick, and Mackenzie. And of course, they started off the stream with priority alerts, which entirely consisted of a maintenance to fix an issue with the weekly shade requisition project, and that it would not reset if the player was offline. Now, how this was broken while the PTS is going on is beyond me, as the PTS lives completely on a different file, but there you go. Also, there is going to be a free weekend of Division 2 starting on September 24th through September 27th, which is just the base game, but if you decide to purchase the game after the trial, all your progress from the trial will carry over to your purchased game. So moving on, TU11 will go live next week on September 22nd after the normal maintenance times. So if it holds true to the way it normally goes down after that 3-hour downtime, it should be up and running. Now, as part of next week's update going live, we will also get the Summit, which is free to Warlords owners. Season 3 will begin, and for Twitch streamers, Twitch drops will be activated for any streamer found in the Division 2 directory. Now, the Twitch drops are as follows: 3 legacy caches for watching 30 minutes, a milkshake backpack trophy for watching an hour, and for streamers, you need to look at the Twitch bounty boards, as Division 2 will be involved in that faction as well. Now, going back to Season 3 launch, and FYI, this season will begin immediately once next week's update goes live, whereas we normally get a 1-week delay before it begins. So, target number 1 in the manhunt is available the minute TU11 is live. I know you've seen this on this infographic, but just FYI, a quick reminder that with TU11, for Warlords owners, you are getting the Summit. Also, in December, Season 4 will begin with Fei Lao returning, and then the special Kenley College event codenamed Nightmare. And that pretty much wraps up the priority alerts and upcoming plans for the Division 2. Next up, the team spent a few minutes discussing and clarifying the announcement about the Division 2 being backward compatible on next-gen console. So let me set the record straight with how this is going to work. If you currently own the Division 2 on PS4 or Xbox One S, you will be able to play the game on PS5 or Xbox Series X without repurchasing the game. Also, you will be able to play with your friends if they decide to play on the previous generation console, but no cross-platform gaming will be possible. Also, there is no next-gen upgrade planned for the game. So this is not an enhanced version. It just means that if you have the Division 2 on your current console and you decide to purchase a next-gen console, it will function on your new gaming platform as well. Now, I'd like to chime in here, and this was totally not on the State of the Game stream, just me expressing my viewpoints, and I really think they missed a huge opportunity here with not enabling cross-platform gaming. Being able to squad up with my friends on various platforms while I'm on my PC would have been epic, and it may have added some much-needed energy into the gamer base. Final note here, Division 1 will also be backward compatible for the next-gen consoles. Iron Horse Discovery Mode will also go live next week with TU11 and will include, supposedly, matchmaking. So for those of you who haven't yet had an opportunity to experience the new raid, here's your chance. Now, I've personally never been a fan of Discovery Mode for a litany of reasons, but mostly because it excludes a huge portion of the actual raid mechanics, and it serves as more of a PvE tutorial tour of the raid map while excluding most of what makes the raid, the raid. And why is something like this taking this long to go live? I mean, the Iron Horse raid went live at the end of June, and here we are at 2.5 months later introducing Discovery Mode. It really feels like that window of opportunity shut a long time ago. Those players that wanted to bite the bullet and complete the actual raid have done so, while those that don't want to attempt it haven't. I don't know what introducing Discovery Mode at this late of a date will do to improve the player engagement situation with the Iron Horse raid. At this point in the State of the Game stream, Hamish and Mackenzie discussed the PTS Phase 2 changes, which had already been implemented and were based on community feedback. I'm just going to run through these very quickly for you. They included additional objectives being added to the summit, which included drone ambushes, servers to disable. They also adjusted the hostage timer, increased the hack radius for the EMP objective, added new loot crates throughout the space, made changes to legendary NPC types, and reduced the number of directives for legendary floors. There were also fixes to the 100th floor, which included fixing the issue with enemies being able to shoot through walls, and a mechanic that allowed you to finish the final encounter by dying and respawning. Now, after those changes were installed, Mackenzie went on to run down the further changes incoming with TU11, and just like the previous changes, I'm going to discuss these very quickly. They added several new objectives and the frequency that those objectives appear. Drone objective difficulty balance was adjusted to make it harder. Legendary mode will now include rogue agent encounters, something we've never seen on legendary missions. That should be interesting. Exotic fire teams have been added for legendary difficulty. Just on a quick side note, they almost express this as something like a new mechanic coming to the game. We heard about exotic fire teams, and what I mean by exotic fire teams is like when they lump all three of the doggo types together. Remember, we had the grenades, and then we had the single fire, and then the triple shots. Remember how they were going to put all three of those together? That's basically an exotic fire team, and they're expressing it now on the State of the Game like this is something new. We've seen this for months. We know what an exotic fire team is. Those will be added into legendary difficulty. Now, they also turned off the ambush encounters, which included lower level off-faction NPC concentrations as the flow of the battle just wasn't there. They fixed cover collision issues, adjusted the laptop placements, door opening issues, and fixed an issue with the 100th floor enemies appearing under the ground. Also, an FYI, in case you missed this, this is a big talking point on yesterday's State of the Game stream. The rally points will be unlocked on the summit. So if you prefer to play the harder difficulties, you can skip floor 1 through 50 and go directly to floor 51, which is where Heroic starts. Also, Mackenzie clarified that rally points are saved points off of the highest level the squad is currently on. So if you join a squad on floor 91, that floor 91 rally point is now saved for you to return at a later time. And finally, it was mentioned that as part of TU11, we will be getting 2 new directives, but we know nothing about them as of yet. So now that we finished up with the scripted portion as I broke down yesterday's State of the Game stream, I'm just going to touch on some subjects that I heard briefly mentioned or were not mentioned, and I'm going to give you just my absolute feelings, the truth about what I feel is going on. The first thing I want to talk about is the reversion of the resistance mods from 20% to 10%. And for those of you who have played Division 2 for any length of time, you know that just slapping on a couple of armor core attributes or something like that onto your character, it does nothing for your resiliency. This game is a game of extremes. If you want to push out damage, you have to go like full hardcore all red build, or a skill build using like NSYNC and combined arms, you know, with the harmony, or you know what I'm saying. You have to devote yourself. If you want to damage, then you have to go full damage. If you want to have any resiliency, you have to go like full resiliency. Just putting a couple of blue attributes onto your gear does nothing. And quite frankly, I really believe that is because of, and I can't confirm this, but I think it's because incoming damage is based on a flat percentage. So if I'm running 600k armor on my all red build versus 2 million armor on my bulwark build, if the incoming PvE damage from NPCs is at a flat 20%, it's still doing 20% against my armor. It really doesn't matter what you spec into. This is a game of extremes. If you want to push out damage, you've got to totally devote yourself to damage. If you want to be resilient, you've got to totally devote yourself to resiliency. So in this reversion from 20% to 10%, what it was showing is that we were becoming a little too resilient versus the NPC types, almost like we were possibly getting onto their levels, getting onto the NPC levels in terms of resiliency. Because whereas I might have 600k armor and I can be 2-tapped by a shotgunner on the raid, I've got to hit that veteran shotgunner rushing at me with, let's say, 30 million worth of damage to drop them. So we were becoming more on their level, and I think that's why they did it. They saw that we were becoming too resilient, and they reverted it. I would personally like to see maybe a happy medium, maybe 15%. That way if we put, 3 max mods onto our gear, we pick up 45% resiliency. I mean, we all want to feel powerful, right? Especially in PvE, you want to feel powerful. And let's just lay it out. The truth is, us versus heroic or legendary NPCs, they are way more powerful than us. They are way more resilient than us. And any little creep, and when I say creep, I mean like power creep, any sort of power creep, as we get closer to them without them being adjusted up, and I say them, the NPCs, it makes our lives a little easier as PvE players. And I think they saw that, and that's why they reverted it. I'd personally like to see it at 15%. Also, this was briefly touched on, I believe, by Yannick late in the stream. They've made drastic changes, or so they say, to global event modifiers, and the way they will not only apply negative effects to our agents, but they're going to make us feel more powerful. And he, in a roundabout way, confirmed that, again, Polarity Switch, Reanimate, and Guardian, those global events, will be back in Season 3. No hints as to anything new. Here's my view on this. Once again, we are seeing recycled content. You are sending us into the same PvE missions that we have played for a year and a half. Yeah, there's some changes to mechanics on the final boss encounter where we go after the new skill variant. Global events were done really well in the original Division game. I mean, they really were. They made us feel powerful. We could still get killed very quickly, but they made us feel powerful. Global events in this game, and this is one of the reasons I don't really take part in global events, is they're just like directives. They seem to just hamper us. All they do is hold us back from our full potential in a really lazy fashion. So to hear that basically what they've done is they've gone back in, they've gone through Polarity Switch, Reanimate, and Guardian, which they have confirmed, according to Yannick, will be back in Season 3. Again, recycled content, lazy. But at least they're going in there and trying to remove the negative effects that the global events have and trying to make us feel more powerful. That's like a double-edged sword. That what all that commentary I just delivered, same content, same global events coming back, but at least we're going to feel a little more powerful. We'll have to wait and see. I personally have not been investing much time into any of the seasons because they're just a grind fest where I don't feel as powerful as I want to feel, even though I'm going out there with my all red min-maxed DPS build. It's not really entertaining to me. All right, also, and I want to comment on this to all my PvP brethren out there. This was commented on at the end of the stream. A lot of PvP, hardcore PvP agents were in the chat yesterday asking about when are we getting new content for PvP? When are these big changes coming for PvP? What is going on with PvP? And I'm just going to tell you right now, this is me. I'm not speaking with any sort of knowledge that I have that the community doesn't have. There's no magic bullet coming for PvP. It is what it is. All right? What you've got right now is what it is. And I think a big part of that is because Redstorm no longer handles PvP on the game. So at this point, the maps that you have, the dark zones that you have, that's what you got. And you just need to let that, or what I just said, sink in. I'm sure it's something all you PvPers out there already knew, but it is what it is. They advertise changes to PvP as balance changes, nothing more. So, no new content, no new maps, no new dark zone. If it is, I will post on my video that I was wrong, and I will cover that new content. But my gut feeling from everything that I'm seeing is that PvP is toast. And I am somebody that really enjoyed PvP and Div 1. I used to record it. I never really posted the content, but I had fun. I had fun squatting up with all those old hardcore PvPers that are all gone from Div 2. I haven't squatted up with anyone other than a small handful that I used to squat up with on Div 1 when we used to go into the Dark Zone. They're all gone. So I know people are railing, and God love you, over in chat about PvP. It's toast. I think it's just an afterthought at this point. You have your 3 dark zones. You have your occupied dark zone. There's no new content. There's no new zones. There's not a lot happening. I'm sorry to say that. It pains me to say that as somebody that wants to engage with Division PvP, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, it's just not satisfactory. All right, I also saw over in chat, and this is a big issue, as I am an owner of one of these, a lot of comments still popping up about PS4 blue screens. Now, supposedly this was fixed in a previous title update, but apparently it's still happening quite a bit. I saw it pop up in chat quite a bit, and it is still not being addressed. I think at this point, what I would like to see in place of the summit or some sort of nightmare mode or something for Kenley College coming in December is you need to fix the damn game. Fix it so that PlayStation players can play the game. And no offense to Xbox, owners and players. No offense to PC owners and players, but PS4 is your largest gamer base. It's your largest cross-section of players. There's more people playing on PS4 than they are on Xbox. There's more people playing on PS4 than they are on PC. You need to fix the damn game. If there are internal issues with your game that are causing this PS4, then you need to fix them. If the game is boring, that's one thing. If the game is repetitive, that's one thing. If the game doesn't function as you've advertised it to function on a specific platform, that is on you, Massive. That is on you, Ubisoft. You need to fix your damn game. I have many a friend on PS4. I own a PS4 Pro. I haven't used it in a while, but I own it. And one of the reasons I don't want to go on there is, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, I went on to try and, finish up my playthrough, and I got blue screened as I tried to level up my character. And I said, to hell with this. As much as an irritant as updating a PC is, with Windows updates constantly coming in, blowing out my audio settings for voice meter banana, it's wild. Like, it constantly just resets all my settings. At least I can go in there and change that. With a PS4, they're stuck. Okay, and that is your biggest cross-section of gamers over on PlayStation, and they're getting blue screens. Like, if I got a blue screen on the raid, I would be pissed. I would be pissed. And yet, it's still happening, and it was not being addressed in chat, and it needs to be fixed. All right, so I think I'm going to finish up this free talk session right here, and I'm going to talk about that last little bit of information that was discussed about the summit yesterday, and the fact that if you want to skip floors 1 through 50 and go directly to floor 51 and play up through there, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, because on the surface, this mechanic sounds great. You're like, hey, I'm a fully leveled agent. I played through Warlords. I'm max level. I've got a pretty hard-hitting build. I don't want to play normal, hard, and challenge difficulty. I'm just going to go straight to floor 51. Problem solved, right? And on the surface, it feels like a good fix. But let's look at this again. This was advertised as 100 floors of high replayability. And now the fix is, okay, well, we can't give you difficulty scaling just yet. We can't give you a lot of variance, so we're just going to cut half. Let me say that again. We're going to cut half of our new game mode out if you don't want to play it. I simply don't agree with this fix. How do you advertise this as 100 floors of high replayability? Started off as, and like I said, this would work perfect with a survival format where we start with gear on par with our enemies, but instead you allow us to come in with our, max level agents on normal difficulty. You can't seem to give us difficulty scaling, so your answer is, hey, let's just cut out the first 50 floors of this skyscraper, which still doesn't have any windows. It feels more like just a dungeon grind, but side point. This feels very lazy to me. This feels like we couldn't figure out how to give you that really intense experience all the way through. We can't figure out how to give you legendary, so you can set the thing on legendary for the entire playthrough. 100 floors of legendary. If you want to be that sadistic, hey, they can't give it to you. So their answer is to, hey, we'll give you a free jump. We'll give you a free pass on 1 through 50. This is lazy. Is this your answer to keep the Division 2 going? Because what it really feels to me is it's your last-ditch effort to put some content out there and then pull the plug. That's what it really feels like. It's like, hey, we got some content coming up. We hope you enjoy it. It's still Guardian. It's still the same global events. We've just reworked them a little bit. We've got some new stuff coming in the summit, but it's really old stuff that we've already introduced, like legendary fire teams. And since we can't give you any scaling difficulty, we're just going to cut out half of it. So yeah, just go enjoy 51 to 100. Oh, by the way, at time of introduction, we're not going to be able to give you the ability to change targeted loot. So if you happen to use that rally point and you go to level 51 and start fighting your way through this repetitive, boring game mode that we've come out with, it's going to be the same damn targeted loot the entire way up the building. So we can't give you the ability to scale it to your liking. We can't give you the ability to turn on and off directives like we can in every other piece of PvE content. We can't make this look like a skyscraper because, adding in windows and lighting effects and stuff, that's a bit too much. And we can't give you the ability to actually customize your experience with targeted loot. I'm just going to let all that sink in right now because I don't want to just start F-bombing. Every now and then I will drop an F-bomb, but this really feels like an F-bomb moment for the Division. I mean, it's like, what the F is going on? What is the direction of this game? What is the future of this game? I mean, we can provide feedback as a community. We can test your game for you on the PTS, but there's only so many ways you can change up something if you're limited by the mechanics of what you're trying to provide feedback on. It hurts. It hurts in a very intense, deep level that the game is coming to this. That's basically, I could have said that right after the scripted portion of the video. The game is coming to this. It is a replayable PvE narrative-driven game that we don't have the ability to customize our experience. We have to play just whatever they give us, with whatever loot they give us, with whatever repetitive experience they give us, and we just got to take it and like it. And I'm sorry if the last 3, 4, 5 videos of mine have been kind of on this downer tone, but I'm not going to come on here and put on a happy face when I don't feel like putting on a happy face. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. You cut out half of it, that's your answer. That should not be the answer. To anyone who's overseeing the game right now, that this should not be what you accept from your team of developers. Their answer is, oh, well, let's just cut out the first 50 floors if they don't want to do it. Whoever is making the decision should have said, no, that's blatantly lazy. Let's figure out a way to just blow their minds. Let's give them 100 floors of customization where they can set their own difficulties, they can set their own directives, they can set their own targeted loot, and they can grind the ever-living shit out of the summit and enjoy it. And then why not even give the community the ability to design their own chambers? I mean, there's an idea. Why don't you give them the tools, at least a light version of the engine for the game so they can design their own floors, and you can actually install that as the floor. So if a community member installs their floor, it could say, floor 75, designed by Buzz or, whatever. I don't know if I would participate in it. I don't know if I have the skills to handle something like that on the game engine. But why isn't even that a thing? Instead, what we have is we're going to cut out half of our new highly replayable 100-floor game mode for those people that don't want to play half of it. And oh, by the way, if you join on somebody that's way higher than you, you get their rally point. I don't know. I think I'm done. I'm done with today's video. I'm not getting the answers that I'd like to see. I'm not getting the interaction that I'd like to see. And I'm not speaking to people that watch this video. I'm speaking to the upper level community team. This is not the way to be taking the game. This is not the way to be treating the game. It's not the way to be treating the community. When I say treating the community, I'm speaking on the point that you still have not given us a definitive answer about the RAID PDF, the terms of service, the violations there, the fact that you felt so enabled to ban players for using a mechanic in your game, but yet go comms dark when somebody else has broken the terms of service. But I guess that just comes down to their status within the community, something that I will never agree with. I didn't want to turn the video into something like that, but there it is. I mean, when are we going to get some definitive direction for the game? I guess that's the question I'll leave you with. All right, so let's go ahead and end today's video. And as always, I look forward to reading your feedback in the comment section below. If you haven't yet done so, please take just a second to smash that sub button and ring the notifications bell to never miss a future upload notification from my YouTube channel. If you liked the video, rate it with a thumbs up. If not, with a thumbs down. Links to support my YouTube content creation outside of YouTube include Patreon and Teespring. By the way, if you want one of those really fashionable Iron Horse Raid PDF t-shirts, you can find the links to those in the video description, also in the pinned comment, or just below your viewing window. Those are available over on Teespring, with all proceeds from the sale of those shirts going to stackup.org. This is a charity organization designed to help veterans through the power of gaming. If you haven't yet done so, please follow me on Twitter for all my latest thoughts, gaming related. And until the next one, this is Lieutenant BuzzLitebeer signing off.